Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. What's your feeling today? I hope all of you great today. The Honorable, our person lecture, and all of my beloved friends. Okay guys, we are from second group. We want to explain about types of translation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rahmawati. For the first explanation, I want to explain about types of translation according to Roman Jacobson. There are three types of translation according to Roman Jacobson. Namely, the first one is intralingual translation, and then the second one is interlingual translation, and then the third one is intersemitic translation. Now I want to explain about intralingual translation. Nah, intralingual translation or rewording is an interpretation verbal sign by means of other sign of the same language. In bahasa, maksudnya di sini terjemahan intralingual atau menulis ulang adalah sebuah interpretasi dari tanda verbal ke tanda lain dari bahasa yang sama. Maksudnya di sini kita bisa memparafrasekan suatu teks menjadi bahasa yang lebih sederhana dan bahasa yang mudah untuk dipahami. Example, in bahasa, dia laki-laki tersohor. Nah, tersohor merupakan kata yang tidak familiar di telinga kita. Kita bisa mengubahnya atau mencari kata-kata yang lebih familiar atau sinonim dari tersohor, yaitu terkenal. Dia laki-laki terkenal. And then we can change from the third language to the target language. Like terkenal become famous in English. Next, interlingual translation. Interlingual translation or translation proper is an interpretation of verbal sign by means of some other language. Maksudnya terjemahan interlingual adalah interpretasi tanda-tanda verbal ke beberapa bahasa lain. Nah, di sini kita menerjemahkan teks sesuai dengan teks aslinya atau dari third language to the target language. For example, when we translate from Indonesian text to English text. Okay guys, next, intersemiotic translation. Intersemiotic translation or transmutation is an interpretation verbal signs by means of sign of non-verbal system. Maksudnya di sini kita melakukan perubahan. Misalnya melalui interpretasi tanda-tanda verbal dengan sarana dari sistem non-verbal. Contohnya, dalam intersemiotic translation, kita bisa mengubah ataupun melihat dari gestur seseorang, kemudian kita mengerti apa maksud dari orang tersebut tanpa dia mengatakannya. Misalnya, di Indonesia, kebanyakan kita membilang oke dengan tanda seperti ini. Jadi, ketika seseorang buat tangannya seperti ini, kita sudah tahu bahwa itu artinya adalah oke. The other example like when someone say don't park here, don't park here. We can change the symbol like this. Next, full translation and partial translation. In full translation, the entire text is submitted to the translation process. That is, every part of the third language text is replaced by the target language text material. In bahasa, maksudnya atau dalam terjemahan penuh seluruh teks diserahkan ke dalam proses penerjemahan. Bahwa setiap bahasa sumber ataupun bagian teks dari bahasa sumber diterjemahkan atau diganti dengan bahasa target. Misalnya, we want to translate from Indonesian to English or from English to Indonesian. Okay, we can see the example. This is process of full translation from Indonesian to English. Bahasa sumber yaitu bahasa Indonesia kemudian ditranslate ke dalam bahasa Inggris. Next, partial translation. In partial translation, some part of third language text or part of the third language text are left untranslated. They are simply transferred to and incorporated in the target language text. For example, in translation of literature or about culture, some parts are not translated into the target language because there are words that cannot be translated or are not translated for the purpose of introducing of literature or culture. Maksudnya di sini, misalnya dalam terjemahan sastra atau tentang budaya, beberapa bagian tidak diterjemahkan ke bahasa target karena terdapat kata-kata yang tidak bisa diterjemahkan atau tidak diterjemahkan karena dengan tujuan untuk sarana pengenalan mengenai sastra atau budaya dari daerah setempat. When we talk about culture from North Sumatra like Mangokal Holi. Mangokal Holi is a tradition of the Batak tribes. Here, we cannot translate Mangokal Holi to the target language because that is the name of Batak tribe. Maksudnya, ketika kita berbicara mengenai budaya Batak dari Sumatera Utara, seperti Mangokal Holi, yaitu tradisi turun-temurun yang dilakukan masyarakat Batak untuk mengambil tulang belulang leluhur mereka dari dalam kuburan. Kemudian dalam target language-nya kita langsung meletakkan Mangokal Holi. Itu merupakan sarana untuk pengenalan budaya ataupun agar masyarakat tahu tradisi-tradisi atau budaya-budaya yang ada di suku Batak tersebut.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sekar Ayu Nuzuliyanthi. I come from TBI-1 and I come from group 2 and I will discuss about levels and restricted of translation. On levels of translation, it have 4 levels that we have to know. Firstly, it have textual level. The second is referential level. The third is cohesive level, and the fourth is naturalness level. Okay, first textual level. On textual level, we must translate or we must transpose the syntactic structure of the source text into corresponding structure in the target text, like that. And also we will find a variety of the reason, and we must have to change the structure into something quite different further down the line to achieve the target language. And then for the second is the referential level. For the referential level, we also must pay attention to the terminology of the text. And then we must look for the reference source that match the term related in the text. When we find obscurity in the text or the terms related in the text, we must find expression that feels foreign us. Like we will surely we will ask to ourselves to be confused automatically. Like we need a linguistic dictionary, or we need encyclopedia or a book or a magazine or a website to translate or to search the internet, like that. And then we move to the third level. The third level is a cohesive level. In a cohesive level, there are have 2 factors. We need to know, firstly is structure, and the second is our mood. Okay, first, if we are translating something, we need to we need to review the cohesiveness of the text after it has been translated, and then we will pay attention to conjunction in the form of the word, like that. It's have connection between phrase, between words, between sentences, between clause or the other else. And then for the second, our mood. When we are translating something, it also depends on our own mood. that has to do with our feelings, our emotion when we translate something. And then for the fourth level is have naturalness level. For the naturalness level, when we translate something, we must be sure that the translation makes sense or look natural or doesn't feel like it's half the result of the translation. That means the text when we translate must be a reasonable language, grammar that is not rigid and uses expressions that are in accordance with the term of the text like that. So we also have to make sure the text we translate can be easily understood to our readers. I think like that. Thank you very much, and I will give back to the moderator. When we are translating something, it also depends on our own mood. That has to do with our feelings, our emotion when we translate something. And then for the fourth level is have naturalness level. For the naturalness level, when we translate something, we must be sure that the translation makes sense or look natural or doesn't feel like it's half the result of the translation. That means the text when we translate must be a reasonable language, grammar that is not rigid and uses expressions that are in accordance with the term of the text like that. So we also have to make sure the text we translate can be easily understood to our readers. I think like that. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zahara Sabrina Aini Lubis. So I want to explain about phonological translation. Phonological translation is carried out when the translator cannot find the appropriate equivalent in Indonesia or TL. So the translator decides to make a new word taken from the sound of the word in SL to be adapted to the sound system or phonology and spelling or graphology of the TL. So I have a example from text SL and TL. There is it's raining cats and dogs. The meaning from text TL in bahasa, kalau kita artikan adalah ini hujan kucing-kucing dan anjing-anjing. Itu kalau kita artikan dari kata per kata. Tapi kalau secara harfiah artinya hujan turun sangat rebut seperti anjing dan kucing. Dan secara bebas artinya hujan lebat sekali. Maybe just this can I explain about phonological translation. Okay, next I wanna explain about graphological translation. Graphological translation is limited translation in which the SL graphology of the text is replaced by its equivalent TL graphology. The basis of equivalent is the relationship to the same graphic substance. Discussion of graphological translation is more difficult than discussion of phonological translation because we do not have a systematic theory of graphic substance, no general graph with which to draw categories of description of graphic substance. Phonological translation is often very difficult because writing system then to use a limited range of graphic substance. The strategies, lines, and sharp corners of the American script, for the example, have limited in common with the surface and calculus of the Burmese script or some South Indian script. Maybe just this can I explain about phonological and graphological translation. If any mistake, Please forgive me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.